What if an athlete wasn't just good, but a glitch in the simulation? What if one man simply refused to be bound by the rules of physics or time or even human potential? In the annals of professional sports, there are players who stand out, players who are dominant, and then there's Jerry Rice. For 2 decades, he didn't just play wide receiver. He defined it, perfected it, and then pushed it to a stratosphere so distant, it feels less like a record and more like a cosmic joke on everyone else. His name isn't just synonymous with greatness. It's a synonym for an era of utter, unyielding, almost supernatural command of a position. Imagine a mountain, not just tall, but so impossibly high it scrapes the edge of space. Its peak eternally shrouded in clouds, unreachable, unassailable. That's Jerry Rice's legacy. He etched his name into the record books not merely as a leader, but as an almost alien anomaly, a statistical singularity who operated on a different plane of existence. His career records for receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns aren't just high. They are monuments, carved into the bedrock of NFL history with a geological certainty that suggests they might, quite literally, stand for eternity. This wasn't merely talent. It was a primal, elemental force, channeled and refined, an expression of human potential pushed to its absolute, breathtaking limit. The foundation of such a monolithic career wasn't laid in glamour, but in grit. Jerry Rice's story doesn't begin with a silver spoon or a spotlight, but with hands hardened by labor, learning lessons in relentless effort long before he ever caught a football. Growing up in Crawford, Mississippi, his father was a brick mason, and Jerry spent countless hours working alongside him, catching bricks. Not footballs, but actual bricks, tossed from scaffolding, hour after hour, day after day. This isn't just anecdotal. It's the genesis of an unyielding work ethic and preternatural hand-eye coordination. It instilled in him a fundamental understanding that mastery comes from ceaseless repetition, from the uncomfortable grind. By the time he hit the NFL, this internal engine was already fully fueled. He was known for a fanaticism in his preparation, a dedication to conditioning and technique that bordered on obsession. His teammates would speak of it with a mix of awe and exasperation. They'd see him pushing himself long after practice had ended, running routes with the precision of a craftsman, catching ball after ball until the sun dipped below the horizon. It's said that Jerry Rice famously preferred practicing in minimal pads during the week, believing it kept him agile and fast for Sunday, a stark contrast to many other players who valued the protection and simulated game conditions. This wasn't vanity. It was an almost scientific approach to preserving and honing his most valuable assets, his speed and fluidity, ensuring that on game day, he was an unburdened whirlwind, a natural force ready to unfold. When he arrived in San Francisco in 1985, after being drafted 16th overall, he wasn't immediately recognized as the soon-to-be GOAT. There were dropped passes, moments of rookie uncertainty. But the foundation of that relentless work ethic quickly turned potential into performance. Paired with the incomparable Joe Montana, Rice quickly became the focal point of a dynasty. His route running was a masterclass in geometry and deception, a ballet of subtle feints and explosive breaks that left even the league's best cornerbacks flailing at air. He didn't just run routes. He owned the space, manipulating defenders with a precision that felt surgical, almost precognitive. His hands were simply an extension of his will, vacuums that seemed to inhale every pass, regardless of velocity or placement. But it wasn't just catching the ball, it was what he did after the catch. Rice transformed every reception into an opportunity for significant yardage, a relentless pursuit of forward progress that added up over years and thousands of plays. Consider this. Across his entire career, Jerry Rice averaged a staggering 14.8 yards per reception, a testament to his ability not just to secure the ball, but to consistently turn every catch into a significant gain. This wasn't just about speed. It was about vision, balance, and an inherent understanding of how to maximize every single touch of the football to extract every drop of value from the play. He was a river carving its path, an unstoppable current flowing towards the end zone, a force that redefined what was possible for a wide receiver. As the 49ers dynasty evolved and Joe Montana eventually moved on, many wondered if Rice's dominance would wane. But like an ancient, mighty redwood tree, his roots ran too deep, his trunk too strong. With Steve Young taking over at quarterback, Rice didn't just maintain his elite status. He continued to set new benchmarks, proving his transcendent talent wasn't tied to any single passer, but was an intrinsic, self-sustaining force. His precision became even more profound, his understanding of the game almost intuitive. He seemed to know where to be, when to be there, and what the defense would do before they even did it. This extended to his physical preparation, which only intensified with age. His off-season regimen was legendary, almost mythical, particularly his infamous hill training. His notorious hill training regimen was so grueling that even elite NFL teammates who attempted it would often give up or vomit, a testament to his singular physical and mental toughness. He wasn't just maintaining, he was actively defying the natural erosion of time, pushing his body and mind to limits that seemed inhumane. This wasn't mere discipline. It was a profound, almost spiritual commitment to his craft, a deep respect for the physical gifts he honed, and an unwavering belief in the power of sustained effort. He sculpted his body into a machine of perpetual motion, a human embodiment of ceaseless energy, becoming a natural law unto himself on the gridiron. The true measure of Jerry Rice's unparalleled nature isn't just in his peak, but in his longevity. He didn't just have a few great seasons. He had seasons, plural, into his early 40s. While most receivers fade into coaching or retirement by their mid-30s, Rice was still catching passes, still making plays, still tormenting cornerbacks a decade older than some of his rivals. He played 20 seasons in the NFL, a career span that feels more like a lifetime in professional sports. He transitioned from the 49ers to the Raiders, and then briefly to the Seahawks, proving his value and adapting his game even as his blazing speed subtly gave way to even more refined route running and an unmatched understanding of leverage and timing. It was like watching a natural wonder, say a geyser, that instead of erupting occasionally, simply flowed with consistent, powerful force for decades, defying the natural cycle of ebb and flow. He showed us that human performance, when backed by an indomitable will and an obsessive commitment to craft, could challenge the very concept of athletic decline. He wasn't just a player. He was a living, breathing testament to the power of sustained excellence, a testament that simply refused to age gracefully when it could continue to dominate ferociously. He expanded the natural lifespan of a skilled position player, carving a new timeline into the landscape of professional sports. And so, we look back at the numbers and they simply don't make sense. 1,549 receptions, 22,895 receiving yards, 197 receiving touchdowns. Each one a record so far beyond second place that they appear not as statistical achievements, but as anomalies. They represent a chasm, an unbridgeable void between Jerry Rice and every other player who has ever donned a helmet and caught a football. Future generations of receivers will come, faster, stronger, perhaps even more naturally gifted, but the sheer volume and sustained excellence required to even approach these numbers feels, well, unnatural. It's like trying to carve a new Grand Canyon. The scale of the original is simply too vast, too deeply etched into the earth. The loop closes, bringing us back to the stark reality of his reign. He wasn't just the best of his time. He transcended time itself. He became the benchmark, the gold standard, the impossible dream for every aspiring wide receiver. His career stands as a monument to what happens when raw talent meets unparalleled work ethic, producing a force so potent it reshapes the very landscape of its sport. But perhaps the most chilling, most surprising aspect of Jerry Rice's career isn't just the records themselves, or the endless yards, or the touchdowns that piled up like autumn leaves. It's the realization that, despite his sheer dominance, despite being the most targeted receiver for years, despite the physical toll of 20 NFL seasons, his greatest feat might be how utterly, perfectly clean his reign was. No major scandals, no public controversies, no whispers of shortcuts. His success was so pure, so undeniably earned through sweat and relentless dedication, that it almost feels robotic. There's a certain unsettling perfection to it, a cold, unwavering consistency that suggests not just human greatness, but the flawless execution of a perfectly programmed machine. It's the almost creepy lack of imperfection, the unwavering focus, the ceaseless climb without falter or misstep that makes him less a man and more an elemental force, a natural phenomenon that simply is. He never broke, he only produced. And in that unyielding, almost sterile perfection, there's a profound, almost disturbing beauty. He stands, a natural law, unbroken and unchallengeable,